So if we stay with the principle of having some good or great conversations and acknowledging our role in that, let's actually think about what roles we may be playing or we may want to play. And a good way of doing that is exploring the Karpman Drama triangle and the supporting model called the empowerment triangle. And within this, there are 6 different roles that we can play, and that's worth understanding a little bit more to help us reflect upon that. If I talk firstly very kind of generically, I've talked about there being a line and us operating below the line or above the line. And when I use that language, I simply mean if we're operating below the line, we're potentially operating under one of the roles within the drama triangle. If we're operating above the line, then we should be operating within one of the roles within the empowerment triangle. We tend to find if we're operating below the line, there's often quite a bit of negativity associated there. So it might be conflict, there might be drama, you might just be feeling really drained, might be worrying about things. And this isn't a place where you're likely to have a healthy conversation and a healthy relationship. If we can be operating above, we're more likely to have some more positive emotions, positive energy, less conflict, and again, you're more likely, if that's the case, to have a really good and constructive conversation. So I recognise this might look a little bit full. We're going to work our way through it. The key thing to talk about first is that there are 6 roles, as I identified earlier. So we've got 3 potential roles in this drama triangle below the line. So this is our victim, our rescuer, and our persecutor. And then above the line in our empowerment model, there's also 3 roles. So we've got our creator, our coach, and our challenger. And they do sort of operate as opposites to each other, I suppose, in terms of how you're more likely to interact or could support. So if I have a look perhaps at the drama triangle first, and I think about one of the roles here, which is our victim role. The victim role, when we're operating in that model, we tend to think that everything's being done to us, or we're at the effect of other things. So the language that we might use then is, poor me, I'm powerless, I've got no control over this situation. The sort of suggestion is actually the opposite to that. If we're operating more above the line, and that's where our sort of energies are, is a creator role. And when we're in that space, we're more likely to kind of be saying, I can and I will. Doesn't necessarily mean you know how to do something, but I can, I will, and feeling more positive from that perspective. And it means kind of taking responsibility and not complaining. So it's really that shift between feeling I've got absolutely no control to taking some control or taking some responsibility. If I then look at our persecutor role, so let's go here, persecutor or our villain. So this person or this role that we're all taking is likely to be more around kind of blame and judgment. It might be that they're blaming themselves, it might be that they're blaming other people, it might be that they're blaming one specific person or just the world in general. And the sort of thing you're likely to hear there is it's all your fault, or it's all my fault, or it's all their fault. There are absolutely cases where individuals are really critical of themselves. I'm so stupid, I can't believe I did this. And then really operating still below the line, persecuting themselves essentially. You may also hear something like, you're not okay, but I am, so do what I say. So very much a blame and judgment language and position. So our villain from a caricature perspective. The opposite to that is challenger. So this is more than around kind of healthy pressure, and there's no blame or there's no judgment. So there's a viewpoint that the individual can do something, and it can be done, or something can be done, and they may approach that by asking questions, but those questions come from a blame-free, judgment-free place. So it's still about pressure, still about challenge, it's still about driving things forwards, but it's coming from a more constructive place. When we're below the line, it tends to be more critical, more blamey. When we're above the line, there's no blame, it's healthy pressure, it's exploring, and it's seeing what can occur. And then if I jump over to our kind of third role within the drama triangle, we've got our rescuer, or again, staying the character, it might be our, knight on a white horse charging in to save the day. So the sort of thing that this person is really seeking is they need to be needed by other people. So that's what's driving that behaviour or that interaction. And the language you might hear there is, yeah, poor you, let me help you, let me fix you, let me solve your problems for you. So on the face of it, that one actually seems like it's very helpful, not dissimilar perhaps to the nurturing parent that we spoke about when we talked about the different model. But actually what that's doing inadvertently is it's keeping an individual in a victim role if they're actually doing that. So the victim's, oh, poor me, and the rescuer's like, yeah, poor you can't help yourself, let me help you, let me do things for you. So then actually the alternative to that is a coach. And when we're in our coach mode, actually we believe everybody's capable of solving their own problems, and then it's more a role of saying, well, how can you do that? So there's still the element of help and support, but it's not taking that on and draining yourself in the same way. It's about helping other people help themselves. So how will you do that? Asking those questions, and really supporting an individual to operate in that way. So I hope that gives an indication of the different roles that you can play within the different conversations that we're taking. And again, I would encourage you to step back and think more generically within any interaction. Where am I? And what role am I currently playing? And what role do I want to be playing? What do I want to be doing? And then how do I go about keeping myself there in the moment? Thank you.